The Himalayas glowed with a cold blue shimmer as dawn crept over the ridges, casting long shadows across the world's most fortified mountain range. Beneath those towering peaks lay the Terran Vanguard Citadel, an underground labyrinth of command halls, defense grids, and encrypted archives hidden beneath kilometers of living rock. It was here, deep within the strategic heart of Earth, that Commander Alara Vaz stood before a panoramic holoscreen displaying a storm of red Dominion symbols spreading across the frontier. "Confirm incursion coordinates," she ordered. Her tactical AI obeyed instantly. "Dominion forces breached Arkmeruin's perimeter at 0400. Excavation activity detected at the ruin complex. Surface drones disabled. Orbit occupied by 6 Dominion war groups. Arkmeruin." The name hit Alara with a force that stole her breath for a heartbeat. She leaned closer to the holographic projection, watching the data feeds scroll like falling embers. That desolate world had been her brother's last expedition site, the place where Draven Vaz disappeared without explanation. "Pull the last archival image of the ruined site," Alara said. The holoscreen shifted to a grainy, dust-covered view of broken pillars and collapsed stone metal arches. The air shimmered with energy distortions, as if the atmosphere itself resisted being scanned. On one of the fallen slabs glowed a symbol Alara recognized instantly, a stylized eye enclosed within a circle of runic lines. Her brother had obsessed over it. He claimed it was part of a forgotten human language, the key to deciphering Earth's oldest myths. A faint ache rose in her chest. She forced it down. The Citadel lights dimmed as an incoming priority broadcast lit the air. The symbol of the Dominion of Rocco blazed across the massive display, followed by the towering figure of Arch-Conquerors HFY. His scaled skin glimmered like obsidian under battlefield lights, eyes narrow with practiced arrogance. "Humans," HFY began, his voice echoing with mechanical amplification. "Your frontier defenses fall before our advance. On the dead world you call Arkmeruin, we have uncovered your so-called war god. A quaint relic. We shall reshape it into a weapon worthy of a true empire." Alara's jaw tightened. The broadcast showed Dominion soldiers tearing through ruined chambers, stomping on ancient inscriptions, ripping artifacts from walls like scavengers. HFY smirked. "Your myths end today." The feed cut. A hush fell over the command hall. Officers exchanged dark looks. The insult wasn't simply military, it was cultural, historical, personal. Humanity had endured centuries of alien ridicule. Their legends were mocked as childish fantasies. Yet Draven believed those stories hid something real. Something powerful. "Alara," Strategic Officer Rana Miles said softly. "This is targeted. They know exactly what they're provoking." "They always did," Alara replied. "They think we invented myths to compensate for weakness." Rana's gaze sharpened. "You don't think they found something real, do you?" Alara hesitated. The stories from Earth's first age, tales of colossal sentinels forged by ancient humans, were considered metaphorical, symbolic representations of courage. But Draven insisted otherwise. His final transmission from Arkmeruin still echoed in her mind. "If the legends are ever threatened, awaken him." She turned from the display. "Prepare Vanguard fleet deployment. Full strike authorization." Rana blinked. "We're mobilizing on one world?" "We're mobilizing on a trigger event," Alara said. "And this is precisely what my brother feared." Within minutes, the Citadel roared to life. Launch bays opened beneath the mountain, revealing sleek starships hovering within anti-gravity fields. The Terran Vanguard, Earth's elite, assembled with controlled fury. Although outnumbered by the Dominion, they carried humanity's most advanced weapons, forged from centuries of innovation and desperation. As Alara stepped into the command dropship, her wrist console chimed with an encrypted message. She opened it hesitantly. A fragment of Draven's voice, partly corrupted, whispered through static. "Alara, the legends were warnings, not stories. If they reach the vault, everything changes. Don't let them take him." The audio cut. She swallowed hard and secured the recording into her data core. She wouldn't lose him a second time. Arkmeruin, Dominion-occupied zone. The world greeted her with a red, dust-choked horizon. Lightning crackled through a thin atmosphere. Dominion patrol ships wheeled overhead, scanning for movement. Elara and her strike team disembarked in a concealed valley half a kilometer from the ruined complex. "We'll move through the ravine," she said, adjusting her visor. "No open walks. No unnecessary scans. Dominion sensors are tuned for human signatures." Lieutenant Soren nodded. "And when they find us?" "They won't. Move." The ravine twisted like a scar across the planet's surface. As they advanced, jagged rock walls gave way to ancient architecture, half-buried arches, fractured columns carved with spiraling patterns, and scattered fragments of alloyed stone glowing faintly beneath the dust. "These structures aren't alien," Soren whispered. "They look familiar." "They should," Elara replied. She guided him toward a partially collapsed mural. Under layers of erosion, the carved lines formed a towering humanoid figure with a spear of light in one hand and a starburst core in its chest. Beneath the figure were glyphs identical to those Draven studied. Soren exhaled. So the war god wasn't a metaphor. Not for the people who carved this. Before she could examine further, a heavy thump rolled through the ground. Dominion drop units landed nearby. Flashing blue arcs lit the ruins. Soldiers marched in formation, surrounding the excavation pit. Elara gestured silently. Her team crouched behind broken pillars as Dominion engineers hauled a massive monolith from the ground. Its surface shimmered with dormant circuitry. "That's the same sigil Draven found," she whispered. A Dominion overseer struck the monolith with an energy pick. A blast of light erupted, shaking dust loose from surrounding structures. Elara's heart clenched. They were too close. Her brother had warned that tampering with these relics could trigger unknown mechanisms, some potentially catastrophic. "We move now," she said. But before they could reposition, Dominion soldiers spotted their thermal signatures. "Contact!" a soldier shouted. Weapon fire lit the ruins. Elara's team scattered behind fallen columns as plasma bolts scorched the stone. "Fall back deeper," Elara commanded. "We can't engage them in the open." They retreated through a narrow archway into a cavern-like chamber untouched for centuries. Dust swirled through beams of dim light. Strange inscriptions covered the floor in a circular pattern, identical to Draven's sketches. Soren knelt. "Commander, your brother was here." Elara placed a hand on one of the symbols. The stone was warm. "He found something." A tremor shook the chamber as Dominion forces breached the archway. ZHYRKL's amplified voice filled the air. "Terran Commander, your presence is predictable. Step aside. The relic belongs to the Dominion now." Elara rose slowly, eyes locked on the deepest corridor ahead, one that led further beneath the ruins, where Draven's trail vanished. "You'll have to kill me first," she said. ZHYRKL growled. "If you insist." Plasma fire erupted behind her. Elara sprinted into the shadows, guiding her team through ancient halls carved with human symbols older than recorded memory. Somewhere below, something waited. Something her brother died to protect. Something the Dominion should never have touched. The war god's echo pulsed in the dark. The chamber's floor vibrated beneath Elara's boots as Dominion soldiers forced their way through the cracked archway behind her. Their footsteps echoed like metal hammers striking hollow stone. She quickened her pace, guiding her team down a descending corridor where the walls shifted from rugged rock to smooth, ancient alloy etched with faintly glowing lines. The symbols felt alive, pulsing as if they recognized her presence. Soren kept close behind her. "Commander, this architecture, it's human. Early pre-diaspora style, but advanced far beyond anything we've recovered." "I know," Elara said quietly. "Draven believed our ancestors built more than legends." Another tremor rolled through the ruins. Dust drifted from the ceiling like falling ash. The Dominion was using heavy breaching equipment. They were not slowing down. The corridor opened into a vast cylindrical hall, its interior illuminated by soft blue auroras drifting along the ceiling. Thick metal conduits webbed the walls. Rows of dormant machines lined both sides, caskets of alloy with cracked surfaces, long drained of power. Some bore the same iconic I symbol carved into the ruins above. Energy signatures are rising, Rana said, scanning the room. Something down here is waking up. Not waking up, Elara corrected. Responding. She moved toward the center of the hall, where a circular plinth rose from the ground. Embedded in its surface were concentric rings of symbols arranged like a star map. Draven's handwriting filled her memory, sketches of constellations matched to mythic verses, each line forming a hidden sequence. Elara knelt and brushed dust from the central ring. The etched lines sparked faint light at her touch. It was the same symbol from her brother's pendant. Get ready, she whispered. A shout echoed from behind. Dominion soldiers poured into the hall, weapons raised. ZHYRKL's amplified voice boomed across the chamber. Human commander, you flee deeper into tombs you barely understand. You should have surrendered above ground. Now you die beneath it. Elara pressed her hand flat against the center symbol. Not today! The plinth shuddered. Rings of light expanded outward, illuminating the far walls. The entire chamber shifted, machinery grinding to life. Hidden gears rotated beneath the floor. As the rings aligned, the far wall split apart, revealing a stairway descending into a darkness that swallowed light itself. A Dominion soldier charged. Soren fired first, dropping him instantly. Elara rose. Fall back. We go down. Her team sprinted toward the stairway, slipping into the shadowed descent just as incoming plasma fire scorched the doorway behind them. The stairwell spiraled downward. Air grew cooler, denser, charged with an electrical hum that vibrated in their bones. Elara's breathing deepened as she felt a strange pull, like gravity bending towards something immense below. After several minutes, the stairway ended. The final step opened into an impossibly vast chamber. The team froze. The vault was colossal, its ceiling lost in darkness, walls lined with towering pillars of obsidian alloy streaked with glowing veins of power. At the center, illuminated by a shaft of white gold light, stood a shape that dwarfed everything around it. Telos X. The Titan hung suspended within a cradle of ancient machinery. 200 meters tall, carved from a metal that seemed forged from starlight itself, its armored plates bore the same runic script seen throughout the ruins. The spear hilt attached to its right forearm glimmered like a weapon waiting for a blade. A faint vibration filled the room, almost musical. Soren whispered, Commander, that thing is older than anything we've ever found. Rana stepped closer. Its core is dormant but intact. I'm reading energy levels that shouldn't be possible. Elara approached slowly. The Titan's presence felt overwhelming yet strangely familiar, like stepping into a childhood story suddenly made real. Draven, she murmured. A console rose from the ground near the Titan's feet, activating as she neared. The interface projected a holographic sphere, shimmering with encrypted layers. Her brother's pendant pulsed warm against her chest. Elara, Soren said. You don't have to do this right now. Dominion forces are right behind us. I'm not leaving without answers. She slid the pendant into the console. A flash of light engulfed the vault. The holographic sphere expanded, resolving into a ghost-like projection of Draven Voss. His face looked worn, eyes tired but resolute. Elara, if you're seeing this, then you followed my trail. His voice cracked slightly, an echo through time. Telos X is real. Not a myth, an engineered sentinel from humanity's earliest age. Our ancestors locked him away when the wars ended, fearing the cost of his power. Her chest tightened as she stepped closer. Only a designated commander, someone of our lineage, can awaken him. Draven continued. Do not let the Dominion claim him. The war god was built to defend Earth, not conquer for another empire. Static cut the projection. Elara, Rana whispered. I'm sorry. She closed her eyes. For a moment, she allowed herself to feel the grief she'd suppressed for years. When she opened them, the sorrow had hardened into resolve. Let's wake him. A blast rocked the chamber entrance. Dominion soldiers stormed inside, shouting commands. ZHYRKL strode through the breach, armor gleaming. You found a statue, he sneered. Impressive. But relics do not win wars. Elara placed her hand on the console. You shouldn't have come here. Talos X, she said clearly. Initiate command verification. VAS Bloodline Authority. The vault pulsed. Lights cascaded across its walls. The Titan's eyes ignited with burning white light. A thunderous voice shook the chamber. Designation confirmed. Commander Elara VAS. Authority recognized. Talos X moved. The Titan tore free of its restraints with a roar of rending alloy. Dominion soldiers stumbled as shockwaves rolled across the floor. ZHYRKL staggered. What are you? He choked. Talos X turned its glowing eyes toward him. The Sentinel of Soul. A beam of star-core energy erupted from its chest, vaporizing a column of Dominion troops. The air turned white-hot. ZHYRKL fled, shouting for a retreat. More beams fired. The Titan advanced with earth-shaking steps, each one echoing through Elara's ribcage. Elara, Rana said, trembling. Did we just... No, Elara said quietly. We didn't wake him. Talos X lowered its head toward her. Its voice softened. Draven lives within my memory vault. He guided your path. A faint whisper, her brother's voice, slipped through the machine's resonance. Elara, I never left you. Her throat tightened. Talos X lifted its gaze upward. Commander. Dominion Armada in orbit. Thousands of vessels. Elara stared at the vault ceiling. They want a war god, she said. Let's show them one. The Titan's core flared. And the world shook as Talos X prepared to ascend. The vault trembled as Talos X rose from its cradle. Energy swirled around the Titan in spiraling arcs, lifting dust and loose fragments into the air. The chamber's ancient pillars groaned, unable to contain the surge of released power. Talos X stepped toward the stairwell, each footfall echoing like thunder trapped within stone. Elara steadied herself against the console. The Titan's awakening pulsed through her neural implant, a rhythmic pressure against her thoughts. She felt a presence, vast, disciplined, ancient, press against her consciousness. It wasn't hostile. It was waiting. Commander, Talos X said, voice reverberating through the entire chamber. Prepare for interface link. Rana exchanged a tense look with Soren. Are you certain you can handle this? Your linking was something older than our recorded history. It recognizes me, Elara said. And Draven's voice came from inside its memory core. He left breadcrumbs for a reason. Another tremor rolled beneath them. The Dominion was preparing an orbital strike. Elara stepped forward. Talos X, initiate synchronization. A beam of white light extended from the Titan's chest, connecting with her implant in a flash that erased the vault from her senses. Her view dissolved into pure data, star positions, Dominion fleet movements, atmospheric densities, swirling into organized patterns. She saw everything from the Titan's vantage point. Every sensor. Every energy stream. Every threat. Her breath caught. The Titan was not a machine. It was a strategic mind forged for war. Commander Voss, Talos X said through the link. Your authority is accepted. Awaiting orders. Take us to orbit. The Titan's core flared. The ground split beneath it as gravitational buffers ignited. Talos X shot upward, tearing through the ruins with a shockwave that rippled across the planet. Elara's team shielded their eyes as the Titan disappeared into a column of light. Soren stared upward. I hope she knows what she's doing. Rana exhaled. She does. She always has. The sky above Arkmeruin erupted in a burst of molten clouds as Talos X broke into the upper atmosphere. Dominion cruisers swarmed like dark metallic insects, engines pulsing blue and violet. Their weapons locked onto the rising Titan. Multiple hostile signatures, Talos X reported. Armada-class formation. Estimated firepower, overwhelming. Elara steadied her breathing. We'll make it manageable. The Titan's arm transformed. The spear hilt along its arm elongated, nanofields weaving metal and light into a complete weapon. A blade of stellar plasma extended outward, humming with lethal resonance. As Dominion warships opened fire, Talos X spun the spear, creating a shield of refracted energy that deflected plasma bursts into the void. ZHYRKL's voice cut through the battlefield's comm channels, sharp with fury. "You primitive creature! The Dominion does not yield to toys of forgotten ages!" Elara transmitted back, her tone controlled and cold. "You awakened something you never understood." Talos X surged forward. The Titan cleaved through the first line of Dominion frigates, slicing a destroyer cleanly in half. Explosions rippled across the formation, scattering ships into chaotic maneuvers. "Proximity alert," Talos X warned. "Enemy flagship approaching." ZHYRKL's warship emerged, a colossal vessel bristling with dark energy cannons and layered shields. Its engines pulsed with violent intensity, illuminating the hull with sickly green light. ZHYRKL himself appeared on every open channel. His eyes burned with rage. "You dare challenge the Dominion with a relic?" Elara met his gaze through the transmitted feed. "This relic was built to end tyrants like you." ZHYRKL snarled. "We will erase your history. Your myths die today." Talos X charged. The battle became a blur of light and motion. Dominion cruisers launched gravimetric nets designed to immobilize capital ships. Talos X leapt between them, spears slicing through field generators with surgical precision. Elara felt every movement magnified through the neural link, each impact absorbed by the Titan's armor, every counterstrike delivered with perfect force. But ZHYRKL adapted quickly. His flagship's main cannon unleashed a beam that cracked open the vacuum with a violent ripple. Talos X braced its spear, absorbing part of the blast while skidding backward in space. "Shields destabilizing," Talos X reported. "Enemy output is considerable." Elara clenched her teeth. "We end this now." She rerouted energy from the Titan's auxiliary modules into its central core. Talos X surged with new intensity, runes blazing brighter than starlight. The Titan gripped its spear with both hands. "Target the flagship's power spine," she instructed. Confirmed. They accelerated, weaving through hostile fire. Dominion fighters scrambled desperately, but Talos X moved like a meteor. The flagship loomed ahead, its hull stretching for kilometers. ZHYRKL's voice broke through with a final, furious roar. "Human! You cannot strike the Dominion's heart!" Elara's voice cut back like a blade. "Watch me!" Talos X hurled the spear. The weapon blazed across the void, trailing a blazing arc of white-gold light. It penetrated the flagship's layered shields in a single shattering burst. The spear tore through armor, cutting directly into the vessel's central spine. Shockwaves detonated across its length. Light surged from within as internal reactors ruptured. The flagship exploded. Fragments scattered through orbit like dying stars. ZHYRKL's final transmission was a choked whisper of disbelief, swallowed by static. Elara inhaled slowly. Through Talos X's sensors, she watched the Dominion fleet falter. Ships scattered, engines flaring erratically as commanders lost cohesion. "Commander," Talos X said, "enemy forces are requesting surrender protocols. Accept them. Disable weapons. No pursuit." "Understood." Silence spread across the battlefield as the Dominion fleet powered down. The once impossible sight of alien surrender unfolded before her eyes. Elara released the breath she'd been holding. "It's over." Talos X's gaze shifted toward her city-sized reflection in its chest plate. "Commander Voss." "Yes?" "In my memory tier there is a final message." A soft, familiar voice seeped into the neural link. "Elara. I knew you'd find him. And I knew you'd lead him." Her brother's recorded consciousness flickered like a warm ember. Grief and pride collided in her chest. "Thank you, Draven," she whispered. The Titan's runes dimmed to a stable glow, no longer burning with war-born fury. The battlefield had grown quiet. The stars shone undisturbed beyond drifting debris. Set course for Earth, she ordered. They should see the guardian their ancestors built. As you command. Talos X descended through the void, leaving Arkmeruin behind. The Dominion threat had shattered under the weight of a power born from humanity's forgotten age, a power their enemies had mocked until it consumed them. Hours later, Earth rotated beneath them, blue and bright. Dawn broke across the Himalayas. From orbit, Talos X hovered silently like a celestial sentinel. Alara stepped forward within the cockpit sphere, gazing upon her homeworld. Our myths didn't die, she said softly. They were waiting. The Titan's voice resonated with ancient certainty. And now they rise again,